Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to talk about a really big question today. How does a massive, world spanning empire just kind of disappear? Seriously, think about that for a second. An empire with land all over the globe, so powerful, so huge, how does it just fade away? What could possibly make something like that fall apart? Well, that's the story we're going to unravel together. So, to really get how it ended, we first have to appreciate just how gigantic the Spanish Empire was at its peak. And trust me, it was absolutely enormous. And look, we're not talking about ancient history here. This was just over 200 years ago. If you looked at a world map back then, you'd see Spain's flag all over the place, from Mexico all the way down through South America and even across the Pacific Ocean in the Philippines. It was a true global superpower. But then, something started to shift. And the change didn't start with armies or battles. Nope, it started with something way more powerful, an idea. You see, over in Europe, you had things like the French Revolution happening. People started talking about these wild new concepts like individual rights, freedom, and, getting to choose your own government. And those ideas, they spread like wildfire across the ocean to the Spanish colonies. People there started hearing this and thinking, hey, wait a minute, why don't we have those rights? Why can't we be free too? So, on top of these new ideas bubbling up, Spain suddenly got hit with a massive problem right in its own backyard. It was a problem so big, they kind of took their eye off the ball with what was happening thousands of miles away. And this slide just nails the situation perfectly. Imagine your parents are having a really intense, important argument in the kitchen. You know that's the perfect moment to sneak those cookies you're not supposed to have, right? Well, that's pretty much what happened here. Spain was completely bogged down, fighting a huge war against France in Europe, and while they were distracted, the colonies saw their chance. They thought, this is it. This is our moment to fight for independence. So between the new ideas and a totally distracted Spain, most of the colonies in the Americas fought for and won their independence. Now let's fast forward to the very end of the 1800s. The once mighty empire was basically gone, but there was one last chapter left to write. By this time, Spain was really just holding on to a few last pieces of its empire: Cuba and Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, and the Philippines way over in Asia. These were like the last jewels in Spain's crown, and a new, rising power was starting to take notice. The final end came really, really fast. Here's how it all went down. First, people in Cuba start revolting against Spanish rule. They've had enough. Second, their powerful neighbor, the United States, decides to step in and support Cuba. And finally, in 1898, the U.S. just flat out declares war on Spain. That was the final showdown. The outcome of this war was so sudden and so shocking for Spain that it actually earned a special name in their history books, a name that tells you everything you need to know about how deeply they felt it. They call it the Disaster of '98. Spain was defeated by the United States, a much younger country. And in that one single event, they lost it all: Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. This wasn't just losing a war. For Spain, this was the official, final curtain call on a 400-year-old global empire. And this all leaves us with a really fascinating final thought, doesn't it? The fall of the Spanish Empire wasn't just an ending, it was also a beginning. As Spain's power finally faded away, the United States was just starting to step onto the world stage as a new global power. It makes you wonder, is this a pattern in history? What happens when the old finally gives way to the new?